Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. Today we're going to do a little feature video and kind of review on my Ken. A lot of you guys on YouTube have been asking, hey, how did you build your Ken? He looks pretty fast, are you using a speed boot, etc. I'm gonna say this as much as I can on every video because I don't expect everybody to watch every single one of my videos. So wherever I can and wherever you can catch this information, keep this in mind that you don't need to complete sets or focus on, like, let's say if you're going after speed, you have to put in a set speed boot, etc. You just want to make sure you know what your hero's role is, you know the stats you want for him, and then you kind of like move around your gear. Hopefully you do consistent like golem farming, wyvern farming, banshee farming, even if you are building a counter Ken. We'll talk about a couple builds later, but I'm gonna show my Ken here. I just 6-star awakened him over the weekend. As you can see, he's at 24,000. Almost 24,500 HP. Not bad. His attack is pretty low, 1,800. That's on the low side. Generally people do run about like 2,000 plus attack. My critical hit chance is pretty low as well, but again, I'm building him for a specific purpose, and I find that my purpose is a tanky damage dealer that is able to also do defense breaks. Now arguably you can say that, well, Jagan, that's exactly what his role is. But to each their own. Every single person I know would most likely like emphasize a different aspect on their Kens, whether they want him to have his effectiveness really high so he becomes a really good defense breaker before he uses his S3, or you want him to have more attack and less health, or even more speed, less speed, maybe less speed with counter set. There's just a ton of ways to build him. But again, if you keep in mind that if you know his role, and his role is mainly to be a tanky bruiser that is meant to do like pretty decent damage and also do armor break, attack break, also do some stuns while he's at it, then you kind of know exactly what you need to go for. Now, Ken himself generally advises that at least in the current meta, you want Ken to be at least 150 speed, at least. If you have lower speed than 150, you can really easily get lapped by anyone with about 200 speed with a speed buff, like easily. And once he becomes lapped, then the usefulness of him becomes a lot worse. Generally on defense breakers, you do want them to be quite fast in the rotation because you want them to go faster than your main DPS. But Ken, because if you know his kit, he actually has a really solid kit. S1, S2, S3 all have pretty decent damage mods. Now I'm going to read them right out loud right now so you guys get a sense of it. S1 has a one-time skill mod. Okay, that's pretty standard for an S1. Some other heroes get a 0.9, 0.8. So 1 is pretty good. S2 has a 1.2 times, and S3 has a 1.5 times. So 1.5 times is already very solid, but the thing about Ken is that all of his skills skill on HP. A percentage of your HP is calculated into the damage formula, and so that's why he becomes really, really strong. His S3 is 30% of his max health into the damage formula. It doesn't mean like you get a 30% of your total health like slapped on as like let's say like a flat damage. That's not how it works. But into the damage formula, you get 30% of his base health. If you know how some damage mods are calculated, so for example, like a 1x mod, you do a 1x mod on the attack calculated, right? So on the attack stat. So if you have 1x mod attack, then you do about so you do my 1,833, you times it by 1, right? 100% of that attack. But if the health is at 24,000, you can imagine what a 30% of that is like. So do the math at so my HP times 0.3, right? So it ends up being quite a lot into the damage formula. Now the other thing is that Terra is saying that the most damaging Kens are the crit damage HP Kens. If you can get that balance, I would definitely say so for sure, because his skill mods with his HP damage multiplication, of course, on top of that, critical hit damage is vitally important. Now obviously you can see, because my critical hit chance is only at almost 60%. Critical hit damage is not my emphasis, but there was really like a result of you know, just the substats. So anyways, kind of like a look through my gear. So people have been asking again on YouTube, is like, oh, what's your speed on your Ken? And I'm like, well, it's 169. And they're like, oh, is it using a speed boot? Because generally people are thinking like, okay, so one of the right side gear, probably maybe one 60% attack, 2 60% health. I hardly know anyone running less than 2 pieces of 60% health. But as you can see here, I'm all running on right side, all 60%. Now it's also because I have the substats to kind of benefit from it. So you could see like pretty decent rolls there, exactly like perfect for Ken. So I was like, you know, when I had it, I'm like, yeah, it's going to Ken no matter what. I lucked out on these two, the ring and the necklace, kind of completing the crit chance here. But arguably, again, if you can make up the substats, make up your stats within your substats, you don't need to really worry about completing a set. I just kind of lucked out. This is exactly what I needed. There's 10 speed on both the ring and the necklace, so that's 20 right there, which is really good. Critical hit damage another 12 and the 7% on the necklace. I think my effect resistance, that even though it's 23, is very low. It's almost like, you know, like ignorable. I think that's all coming from my ring and the necklace itself. The weapon I chose here for the speed 8 and the 15% health, but mainly for the 19% critical hit chance. On the off chance I do get a critical hit, I still would like to take advantage of that 182% critical hit damage. So therefore I put this on him without question. I do think that he doesn't really need high attack, but if he has high HP, pretty decent attack, but high critical hit damage, you're gonna benefit a lot more from a high attack. So again, like this helmet has 14 health, 7 effectiveness, good critical hit damage, and 11% attack. In my opinion, I would have preferred him, you know, maybe getting like a critical hit chance instead of attack here, again, to get more critical hit damage more often on average. This one's from the raid. If you can purchase this from the raid, of course. As a 9 speed, is pretty beefy. 7% health, nice to have. 11% defense. I was kind of lacking defense on my Ken. He was about a 680, maybe like just breaking 700 before with like another chest piece. I think it was something like this. This one. It had a bit more effectiveness, which is really nice. Pre-vigor, if you want to use him as a defense breaker, pre-vigor, as a 3% critical chance and a 15% critical hit damage. But I kind of removed that because I didn't think that you know, if he wasn't going to survive, let's say if he was going to get nuked because he had a low defense, you know, what's the point of actually getting his damage up? So I kind of changed it out. But this kind of worked out well. His 12% critical hit chance there, very nice balance. One thing to know, again, his S3, why I keep saying pre-vigor, is because once he goes into vigor, so once his S3 is used, for the duration that it lasts for 4 turns there, his S2 ignores effect resistance. So technically you don't need high effectiveness, but you have to get his vigor up high. And so one of the ways to do that obviously is to get your speed high. So the more times you use the S1, because the S1 acquires 15 fighting spirit here. If you get it to +3, you get another 5, so that's 20. It generally means, if you don't get attacked, it generally means you save 1 full turn before you get vigor. So at least, if you are building Ken, I think you have to get the S1 to +3, the S3 to +3, just because you want vigor up as much as possible. Vigor, it says, increases attack and defense. It's a 30% attack and defense buff that can be stackable with outside attack, regular attack and defense buffs. So let's say if you run like a DN, you run Crow, it can stack with that. So those are 50%. So then he becomes really beefy. Now the other thing is his S2 increases his speed, and this is why Ken is so broken. If you watch my top 10 video on heroes to reroll for, one of my suggestions is Ken. He's used like early game, very easy to gear, you know, respectively, because you just focus on HP, and he's really good end game as well. Very good utility in hunts, very good utility in some boss fights, and really good in GVG and also PvP. He gets his own speed buff. I also put in Ellis Fist on him for now. Arguably, you could run Sigurd's Scythe if you want to sustain. Like you see, I don't have lifesteal set on this Ken, so he can't self-sustain. Another option is obviously to build him with lifesteal set, but then you do have to manage his speed. You still want his speed to be high so he can sustain himself. But Ellis Fist is decent because the lower HP he has, the more speed he gets and also attack. So there's a couple thresholds on Ellis Fist. If I remember correctly, it's like I think 75% he gets a boost of attack and speed, 50% he gets a boost of attack and speed, and 25% under 25% he gets a boost of attack and speed. And you know, in chronology they get better as your HP is lowered, but it's not like fully scaled. So let's say if I'm stuck at between like 50 and 75%, I'm at like 60%, and I got knocked down to like, you know, 55%. You're not gonna see a change in the numbers. At least that's according to the data mine. But anyways, Ellis Fist has kind of been okay for him because with his own speed buff, you know, and with Ellis Fist as a low HP, he gets turns like mad. It's just really good. You want to keep his vigor up. You want to keep his speed high. You want to get him to do as many turns as possible. Another thing to know is if you are not using him in auto, like let's say you're using it for hunt, like auto run, you can soul burn the S2, which gives you an extra turn. The extra turn, you can time it to use Phoenix Flurry, his S3. So I've seen multiple combos. He's really cool in the sense that he really acts like a monk in other RPGs, like the rule, because he's really like a combo guy, you know. Yeah, and then yeah, once you have vigor, you also do burns. So this is where like if you have an attack is higher, it's kind of nice to have. But he always has a 35% chance to break defense on the S1. So that's why he's such a good defense breaker. 2 defense breaks, one that can actually affect ignore effect resistance. The only thing is that of course it's single target and it's not always 100%. It's not guaranteed. So I mean, so his S1 would definitely require effectiveness. So again, in my build, the effectiveness is not high at all. 24% is not good. Arguably, you really want 50%, but you know, again, the way I'm using him, and I've used him for PvP and GVG strategically, and he does what I need him to do. So I'm pretty satisfied with it. Of course, upgrades are always welcome. So I'll always be kind of looking for hand-me-downs if I'm not building other heroes. So the other build, you know, to consider again, if you can make up the main stats and the substats, is to get him with a counter set. So again, if you read the S1, it does acquire 15 fighter spirit every time he uses it, right? So if you enhance it to S3, it's 20 fighting spirit. You need 100 fighting spirit to do the S3, but he has a 50 fighting spirit at the beginning of the battle. So like I said, if you have 15, you attack it twice. That's without you being attacked, by the way. If you get attacked twice, I think if you get attacked, you get 5. Yeah, it says right here, it gains 5 fighting spirit when attacked. But sometimes maybe he doesn't get attacked, you know? So you still want his vigor up ASAP because you want him to be as potentially efficient as possible. So if you have a counter set, let's say, and you do put him up on the front line, let's say for PvE content, or you're using him as a bait in PvP and GVG, if they attack you and you counter, you actually do acquire your 20 fighting spirit if you have enhanced this. So you can imagine how fast your vigor can actually come up. So let's say for a counter set, I would probably recommend using Sigurd's Scythe on him, so he can sustain his damage as well, like sustain the damage dealt to him. Because if he is put in the front lines and you are expecting him to bait, you want him to survive, and you don't want your healers, you know, to have their jobs cut out for them. So having Sigurd's Scythe is another good option. The only reason why I don't have it right now is because I don't have another one. Otherwise, I think I would give it to him because I don't have lifesteal set to sustain himself. But he does enough damage just to get back a ton of HP, to siphon back a ton of HP if you use Sigurd's Scythe. Okay, so I'm gonna run him a couple times in, let's say, Golem, and also Wyvern. So lately I've been using him for Wyvern just because he's fast and because he has a defense break. It speeds up my Wyvern 11 runs. So if I'm not farming for 3-man, I'm not farming fodder, I do use him in the team. So I'm gonna go team 2. And so obviously for Wyvern, I'm not comfortable running him in the front lines. Arguably it can work. I think if you have 2 healers, it can totally work. but I'm not comfortable doing that, at least right now. But for Golem stage 11, I do actually run him in the front lines, and I put Charles on the side. Even though Charles has a counter set, I actually want Ken to get his vigor up. It's been working for me, but we'll do an auto run from both, and I'll comment on what's happening. So let me do it on auto, and let me catch up on the stream chat here. She said I need Tam and Ken, Tamarine more than Ken, just because PvP and PvE.
I'm charging.
You want to try the Assyria Tamarine combo? On that subject, I think that Tamarine, Tamarine and Ken, obviously, I would say both is nice to have. They really offer different things. Where I am in an arena, at least the way my heroes are geared, I can't always use Tamarine. But Ken, I use them a lot now. I don't know. It does depend, but yeah, both are nice to have for sure. So arguably speaking, for if I wanted to do like half auto, I would most likely run Ken without his skills on auto right now, like on the wave 1, but on the wave 2 I would turn it on. The only reason is because I want to get his vigor up a bit faster. With my current rotation, I take down wave 1 quite quickly. But you'll see Ken do his work. His S2 does not have a turn cooldown reduction for his skill enhancements, but it's 3 turns. It's actually quite quick. So you'll be able to do his S2 quite quick, but then again, it's like depending on if you're racing for vigor, you don't want to use his S2 in between. But at the same time, so actually I would put it this way. For my Ken, because my effectiveness is low, for enemies with high effect resistance, I would most likely race to get vigor before I even use the S2. Now S2 does have a bit more damage modification, like I said, it's a 1.2 times. But you get the break on it too. But if they have high resistance, it's kind of like a waste. But you do get a speed buff, so I guess it does depend. But arguably, I would almost rush for vigor if I get the S1 2+3, and rush for vigor, and then start doing the S2 and S1 back and forth that way afterwards. But it depends on the fight. PMA is like more counter sets. PMA is really obsessed with counter sets. Yeah, so you can look at the damage here. There's no defense break on this. Of course, this is an attack buff. And of course, I landed a critical hit damage with a 1.8 K attack. I did about 6.8 8K critical hit damage, which is arguably pretty good. Just keep that in mind. So you can see the scaling from HP is a ton. So yeah, I would repeat what Tara said. If you can get the critical hit damage high, you really don't need to really focus on the attack. I think that's some people are saying that, okay, yeah, skills from HP, but he still needs attack. But you can see the damage output here is still pretty high. Of course, like I said, if you can get all the stats, arguably that would be the best case scenario, but it's very hard. It's a very hard stretch. You probably need epic gear and like really high rolls on every single piece of gear in order to get like high attack, high HP, high speed, high effectiveness, high critical hit damage, high critical hit chance. That's a lot to strive for. So again, kind of know what you need your Ken, to do, and kind of focus on the stats. Alright, so that was pretty quick. I mean, not the fastest run because if Ken had been lucky proccing a couple of his defense breaks in between, I think we could have done it a lot faster. And of course, I got a lucky S3 on that. S1 3 hit on Luna there. I'm gonna do a Golem Hunt here just to finish off this showcase. So at this point, I think my Ken is done. If you guys watch my videos in chronology, when I did my Golem 11 run, my Ken wasn't even as beefy as he is now. He wasn't a 6-star awakened, and he was his headpiece and his armor wasn't finished. But now I'm pretty sure he's done for a while. So again, I'm putting him in front because I want him to get hit more, so his vigor comes out. And for me, I think for Charles to counter on this fight is not as necessary as it is for Ken to get his vigor. Counter / crit. best set for Charles? I would say so, yes. For how Charles's kit is built, you want him to get as many hits as possible. And of course, the crit set is nice if you can. You can go effectiveness set if you have critical hit chance substats and you have enough of it. You can try effectiveness set too. Or if you have enough of critical hit chance and effectiveness, you could try a health set too. It's just the yeah, I know for new players you're like, okay, it's just locked to these sets, but that's not the case. Especially not for most heroes. You want to focus on getting the stats you need.
Go away.
Okay, so I think Tamarine gets an idle cheer after. So yes, the timed him in front. If he gets enough hits, he gets his vigor here, which again, like 8.3k right there on Golem, and Golem's quite tanky. Burn, because he has vigor up. Now we just need Tamarine to come in. Yeah, get an attack buff. And then Ken should be able to do a ton more damage. He should be using his S2. So if a defense break, yeah, because it ignores the effect resistance, but 75%, right? Keep that in mind. So that Charles there with Elburst is good because again, Golem does AOE, and so it doesn't matter if he's put in front or not with counter set. Kind of too bad that Ken is stunned, even though he's the one being featured here. Yeah, so that's why I put my Charles on the side. Good for cleansing if he can get the proc, and attack breaks. The attack breaks are pretty important. I've heard some people actually be able to just kind of like almost solo Golem with just Ken. So like even without Charles, and even without a damage dealer. Actually, I want to do a test. For science. I'm gonna do a test. I might be able to do a 3-man if it was just Ken Tamarine, maybe.
Can you hold out much longer?
Maybe I need Surmia. I think Charles might not even be needed. So let me try running it. So I've never tried running a 3-man yet, but I'm pretty sure Ken should be able to do the deal himself. So let me do it again. Try again, and I'm gonna remove Charles for now. But I've heard some people be able to just use Ken as the solo damage dealer. Yes, it's gonna be slower. Actually, let's do it. Alright, let's do it. And then I'll run a 3-man, and then we'll end it. For science. Yes, Sheath. For science. Hey man, people on YouTube, people on stream, they want to watch these videos for educational purposes too, right? We want to see it. Let's put Ken to the test. Remember, I have Ellis Fist. So another one of this test is I want to get his HP lower to get his Ellis Fist active. Okay? Hopefully I can keep him like around 50% HP and not die.
Go away.
But let's see how we do. Because there's a potion vial on Tamarine, I only have one target. Well, technically with herself, 2 targets to cleanse the debuff if my potion vial procs. So it could work. But like I said, I think I won't be able to kill him fast enough because he stacks his attack. Okay, he gets his vigor too quick. So it's kind of gonna be waiting for us. 30-minute long YouTube video for Golem? Yeah. PMA says Ken, Tamarine, Clury. Probably. I would probably still go with Surmia, to be honest. Like Charles held nothing except the attack break, and he doesn't have Aureus, right? Obviously, so like he wasn't taking any damage. So I probably wouldn't run Clury, other than the attack break, but she doesn't get it quick enough anymore. I'd still probably run with Surmia if I did a 3-man. But again, I wanted to put this to the test. I mean, so far so good. I mean, wave 1, look at him go. He's under the 75% HP threshold, so his speed is quite quick. Let's see how he does here. Yeah, Ellis Fist is active for sure. Okay, now it won't be. But I'm gonna get hit, so defense break. Speed is up. See, look at that. He already got that 2 turns. My as a reference, my Tamarine is about a 185 speed. Not the fastest, I can admit that. But yeah, I don't think we can kill him. Let's see how well we do. Yeah, Tamarine's dead probably.
Go away. away.
Technically, she should have cleansed herself.
Ultimate.
Here we go. Vigor.
Past our limits.
Oh, more buff strip, you mean? I see, I see. No, I don't think you need lifesteal on Ken, to be honest. I think Sigurd's Scythe might be a bit better
Ladies and
for Golem because of again how much HP you can get back and how much damage he'd do after you hit him down to 50%. Yeah, I don't think we can outbeat him. Yeah, he gets stronger over time, so this is not this won't be too good.
together.
And my Ken is not actually you know, his HP is not going down fast enough. I wanted him to be about 50% health there. Maybe if Tamarine dies, we'll see how well we do.
Shine free.
She healed him again. Cleary with Aureus? Nah, you don't need it. You don't, well, yeah. Okay, hopefully he kills off Tamarine.
Yes.
I'm thinking I'll actually probably do better without Tamarine, which is funny. But I need those attack buffs. I mean, see, so far so good. Look at his HP. It's
Go away.
pretty impressive. I feel like a sports commentator. Just here we go. Yeah, I think how this will end would be Tamarine will die eventually, and Ken will still be alive. But we'll see if Ken can do it.
Shine.
Yeah, he's getting stronger. You can see it. And Ken is still working him down, man. I'm surprised. He goes to heal, but look at the damage dealt over time, right? Here we go. Vigor.
Get a good look at these fists.
Too bad it wasn't on a defense broken golem. I could have had it if that tree didn't cure him.
Shine free.
He gets another turn.
I'll knock you into next week.
Ken is OP, man. Basilip. Ken is OP, man. Look at him go. I'm gonna lose Tamarine now. Yeah, she's gone. Okay, let's see. He's gonna be alone for this. Let's see how we do. No attack buff, but he does have a vigor buff. Burn. Oh, he's stunned. Ah, that's not good. This stun's not good. That's probably the only thing that can really kill him. Ooh, no, I'm gone. There you go. Not bad.
How could I lose?
That's not bad. Yeah, I can be sure that I can do 3-man then. Hold on, let me do Surmia here. Okay, so for science, you can see how deadly that is. I think that stun is probably what really broke me there. I think he could have lasted a bit longer. Okay, so last run. For science. Pretty funny. Yeah, so Sigurd Scythe is on my Surmia. I don't have another one. I think as soon as I get another one, I'm going to give it to Ken. I think he'll benefit that from more than Ellis Fist most of the time.
No mercy. In a real
And the only reason why I say that is because to get the best effect on Ellis Fist, again, you need to be about under 25% HP, and it doesn't matter where you take him unless you're farming. One, if you're farming, he's not gonna go under that health, and if you're doing PvP or even let's say like Golem, as you just saw, he's gonna be like in a very vulnerable state where he's too squishy. So it's like that's where Ellis Fist kind of breaks on him. Like you may maybe only benefit from the 25% and 50% thresholds, but I don't think you can really benefit from the the 75% and the 50% thresholds, but not the 25%. So I think Sigurd Scythe would be better. Hell Cutter on Ken? No, I don't think Hell Cutter on Ken really benefits. Yes, you might increase your critical hit chance. The attack won't stack too much, especially if you have a fast Ken. So yeah, thanks for asking that, Sheath, because that's a good question that maybe other people on YouTube might be asking too. I would definitely not recommend it if you have a fast Ken. Maybe Hell Cutter on him, maybe, very low maybe, if you have him on a slow counter set. So he's slow in speed but off a counter set, but even then I don't think he'd be as effective as he would with like other artifacts.
Nice.
Unhealable, that's good.
Keep watching, everyone. Can you hold out much longer? Shall we bet on it?
I think Ken should get his vigor up now. Yep. And I think Tamarine will go into idle form. I'm not actually keeping count. I'm just kind of like, oh no, she's already in idle form. Okay. Yeah, but the attack buff. Yeah, there you go, there you go. That's what I meant. Okay. Ooh. Okay, we should be good. Yeah, 3-man. Okay, so for sure I can do a 3-man team. Good thing about Tamarine is that you know, for 3-man team, I might be able to lose my fodder as soon as Golem goes. So Tamarine's not wasting her S1 heal on the fodder. That's one of the many reasons why 3-man teams can fail if you run like Rod on, like, let's say Wyvern or something, because it might heal the fodder. If the fodder didn't die, it just heals the fodder and doesn't heal your tank, then you're kind of over. But the same kind of concept for this. Okay, cool. So we can do a 3-man team on this. Nice. With Ken, so OP, man, so OP. Does Border Coin stack with Tamarine's attack buff? Tamarine's attack buff? No. Border Coin is a warrior artifact. Tamarine's attack buff pushes the CR. No. For Border Coin to go off, you have to have them use a skill that's not an attack. So Surmi is S2 only. Let's see here. Besila says, I wish I could get some good rings and necks for Ken. I'm still running him on lifesteal set. Are you running him on the Abyss lifesteal set? I'm assuming, because I don't think you farmed Banshee yet, right? Alright, so I'm going to end off this video here. So anyways, it's going to be, he's worth investing in. So again, if you have watched my reroll video and you are not convinced that Ken is a good one to reroll for, no, I got this guy on YouTube commenting a couple days ago. He got, if I remember correctly, he got Ken, Angelica, and Leo on his reroll. And he's just like, is this good to keep? And I'm like, what the frick? You have arguably, like, well, Leo's a pretty good farmer, so like that's a really good to start, and he's pretty good for PvP. And I'm just like, what the heck, man? I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I replied him a day late. I was hoping that he didn't like think that, you know, because of my non-responsiveness, he just rerolled. I hope he kept that account. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Ken. I'm definitely going to invest in him. He's really good after the developers buffs. And yeah, so this is my kind of Ken kind of review and kind of showcase. And so hopefully, you know, this will give you guys like kind of like a guide to be like where you kind of want Ken to be, what kind of builds you might want him to be, for what purpose. Hopefully I kind of spark some ideas. Anyways, if I missed anything, of course, drop it down in the comments below. I know there are a lot of experienced players also watching my videos, and they leave their advice, and I always appreciate that because it benefits me and it benefits the community as well. So I'm going to end that there. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.